Hi, welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Shelley Whitehead. Happy Wednesday to you. I'm so excited about the show today. Two amazing guests are going to be speaking with us. We're going to be speaking with Kim Baerg, who made this amazing puppet right here. We're also going to be talking to Doug Johnson, so make sure you stick with us. We'd like to remind you that if for some reason you cannot catch us on Charter Channel 8 6 days a week, you can find us on YouTube, blip.tv, as well as Facebook. And we'd love for you to join us on Facebook. If you like us, what Leanne will do is she will upload this episode, the new episodes every day, to your Facebook page. So make sure you check that out, like us on Facebook, and let us know what you're thinking. Another way to let us know what you're thinking is by sending us an email to owatonnatoday@charter.net. Give us some ideas of what you'd like to see right here on the Owatonna Today Show. If you'd like to see more puppets, we can make it happen. So make sure you check that out and send us that email, or you can call Leanne Alt at 390-5751. Now, keep in touch with us. Let us know what you think, and we'd love to hear your feedback. We're going to be back in just a minute with Kim Baerg, so stick with us.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Juvenile fire setters is a big problem in the city of Owatonna. If you have any problems with juveniles or young adults setting fires within your homes or your community, please get in contact with the Owatonna Fire Department, and we can help assist you with rectifying the problems with the juvenile fire setter. This is a public service information from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, we're Mark and Becky Stevens of the Owatonna Pizza Ranch.
And we support the Owatonna Today Show.
The Steele County Food Show presents its 20th annual Hometown Sampler Concert Series with performances by Hot and Bothered, Mile 5 Band, Bad Tangerines, and the Gogs. The Hometown Sampler will be held at the Owatonna Little Theater Friday and Saturday, March 1st and 2nd at 7 p.m. and Sunday, March 3rd at 1 and 4 p.m. Admission to the sampler is a food or monetary donation. Please help restock the Steele County Food Shelf. Our goal is to raise $100,000 during the month of March.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. Hi, I'm a dork. Kim, how are you?
Good.
It's a
really
pleasure
good.
to have you. We have you on the show today because you're fantastic and you've done some amazing things. So first of all, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what you do during the day, kind of your day jobs.
Okay, well, I really enjoy building puppets. I build them for different entertainers. I built for clowns, professional entertainers, missions trips. I've taught them how to build puppets and they bring them along, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I build with fleece and fur and all kinds of different stuff.
You always wanted to be a puppet maker?
I didn't really know. When I was younger, I really, really enjoyed growing up watching the Muppet Show and just all kinds of different kinds of shows with puppets in them. I was on a puppet team when I was in high school. Okay. But that kind of dropped off the radar until just a couple of years ago when I found out that, hey, this is really fun to build and I enjoy sewing. Well,
you have an artistic bent already because you've always done artistic things.
Yeah, I have a background in graphic design and illustration, so it just lends itself really well to puppet building.
How so? How does something on the page translate to something 3D like this?
Okay, well, yeah, usually I start out with my clients and I say, what are you looking for? And from that, I drop a couple illustrations of what we could do, and we kind of go from there.
And so having that initial design and being able to visualize that and put that down on paper, you can easily transfer that into 3D.
Yeah, yeah, because I used to work at a company called Black Forest, and they designed jewelry for promotional, and I was their illustrator there. So it just kind of, everything seems to pile on itself, to get me to this point. So
the skill that you needed for this.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the first few puppets you made. What were you thinking? What was going on with that?
Well, one that I made was actually something you were involved with.
Well, I believe what happened was I said on Facebook, I want a Muppet, and Kim said, I'll make you one. Yep. That's, I think, what really honestly happened.
That is true. And then I went, okay, and how am I going to do that exactly? So, that was a lot of fun, and just really, it's not like you can go to a puppet store and go, I need eyeballs and nose and, body and just, so you have to be very creative and be willing to go into a hardware store and say, I need a plastic pipe about like this long, and it has to be kind of flexible. And you know, you really have to kind of be bold and you know, look for different materials. So that part is a lot of fun.
So you made one just for fun for me.
Yeah.
It's a bus dunny.
Yeah.
I'm weird. But so then what happened? Just for the family, friends? Did you start making because you just enjoyed it? Or?
Well, actually, after that, our church, I was helping to put together and direct a large musical for the summer, but it worked well to have some different puppet characters in it. Well, I ended up building them all. And I went, this is really, really cool. And that's when I really started loving it and going, hey, you know, this might be something that I could do as a job and, you know, be able to make some money off of it.
There is actually a puppet culture within Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's some really, really talented puppet builders and puppeteers in Minnesota. And we get together maybe once every 3 or 4 months up in the Twin Cities. The Minnesota State Lottery has a series of commercials that my friend Gordon and Jeff and several others had a big part in. Gordon built all the puppets for that. And so yeah, it's I think it's something that's really growing and building in Minnesota. We're hoping to have a puppet con actually in the next couple of years and really get that going. So that's something we're really excited about.
Well, there's even a puppet TV show based here, Transylvania TV.
Yes,
that's got they built some puppets for that and that kind of thing. So now you've started this. You've been making some puppets for yourself. You know, you've made some for fun people. Talk to me. You made some for clowns.
Yeah, I made some for clowns. Patches is a bear about this large and
sitting down.
Sitting down. He's a really big bear, but he belongs to a good-sized clown, so it works really well. That was a really fun build. We actually took an old teddy bear and made him look even older by adding patches, and I opened him up and got a good mouth in there. Mouth plate's really important with a puppet,
well,
and so
let's talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
So let's talk about the basic component of a puppet. So you have an example here. Who's this?
This is Purple Furry Monster. It doesn't really have a name.
Okay, so please send in your name ideas for this because
he does need a name.
He needs a name. So
she.
if you have an idea for a name for this monster, let us know on Facebook or send us an email. Purple Furry Monster needs a name. So let's talk about the breakdown of a puppet. What's part of it?
Well, this one, I guess we could start from the insides out.
Okay.
Should we do it that way? The insides, because as you know, this has got a little bit of substance to it. This is actually foam in here.
Okay.
A lot of times these are used for building cushions for like chairs or that sort of thing. So I usually get these just at the craft store, and I decided on a pattern for the body and cut them out and glued them together with contact cement. So that kind of holds the inside of the puppet together.
And there's not how to build puppet. There's not patterns out there, are there?
Well, you know, there's a few, but I think a good place to start if you really do want to build puppets, there's a website called Project Puppet, and they do sell, and that's kind of where I started.
Okay.
So
we have the body, so you got to decide what kind of body you want.
Yep.
And then I would guess the most important part is the head.
Yep, the head is pretty important. That also has a foam structure inside it to hold it. This one, the hairs up here, this was actually a feather boa and some ostrich feathers. This is a faux fur.
Make sure you show the camera.
Oh, yes. Yeah. This is a faux fur, which I order from different fur companies online usually. There's also a couple good places up in the Twin Cities to get them.
But for me, the most important is the expression, because we have these two examples here of these two different puppets, and yet they're very different. So talk to me, how do you decide what kind of expression your puppet should have?
Yeah, that's good. And again, I think I usually get to that part when I'm drawing and decide, you know, because this character, you know, because you really, it's almost like you need to write a character description before you even get to the drawing. Decide what that character is going to be like. So it's interesting because there's very much theater involved in puppetry too. So.
So he's a little crabby.
Yep, he's a little bit, yeah. He's
and part of that's the dark
grouchy.
Eyebrow. And
I think so. Yep. And these eyes were actually ones that I could order, and I've made several different types of eyes too. You can use ping pong balls, plastic spoons you could cut off. The nose is, again, the foam, and then I covered it with fleece.
And then what about the mouth plate you're talking about?
The mouth plate, this one I used a really hard plastic covered with the fleece inside. I have made them with like a very thin plywood, which works really, really well too for lasting a long time.
And part of it is also you have to think weight, don't you, when you're making the puppet, because the person has to hold this thing up.
Right, right. It needs to be very, very light. That's why I use this foam. There's other types of foam that you can use that this is super, super light. And as long as it's very bendable and you can glue it together, it works good for the insides. Yeah.
So you have something here that's not a puppet, and I wanted to talk about that. And we have a couple minutes left. Talk about this little Wookiee that you have here.
Okay, this guy. This was an interesting, this one came about really interesting. I was working with an illustrator, and he wanted a large, about 2.5 foot tall puppet and photo model of his character called Wookiee the Chew. He does some really neat parody art that he illustrates. And so I did that for him, but a lot of his fans said, oh, can't we get a plushie? So this guy I designed based on the Wookiee the Chew character, and he's just a fully jointed plushie, so his mouth doesn't move like a puppet. But this is a lot of fun. So I did just a 50 edition of these guys. I didn't do more than that right now.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself going with all this stuff, with all these puppets?
I want to keep building, and I'd like to do a little bit more with like commercials for businesses and stuff, and work on that end of it. Even just like promotions within companies, short movies that they could use for meetings with puppets, because puppets are definitely for adults. You mentioned TV. That is not a kid's show by any means, but it is done with puppets, and it's a lot of fun and just silly to watch. So yeah, I'm just working on my business plan this year, and going to see where it goes, and I'm just try to remain flexible with that too, because you never know.
If someone has questions, they can contact you. You have the contact information up on the screen now.
Okay, great.
If they have questions or want you to build a puppet, you'd be open to that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And if someone wants to build their own puppets, what's one thing you would tell them?
I would say there's a lot of really good information online. Otherwise, you can get a hold of me on my Facebook page, because I just love to help.
Well, that's what I've noticed is the puppet community is helping each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Giving advice, working together, not just this is mine.
Yes.
But and that's very useful. Well, thanks so much for your time today,
thanks,
Kim.
Shelley.
We'll be right back on the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, this is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance, and we are proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now, I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
When you or a loved one needs specialized care, where can you go for help? Park Place Senior Living and Coda Living Community provide a home with personalized services. Park Place Senior Living offers apartment homes with housekeeping or nursing services that meet your unique needs, including extended assisted living in the former Cedarview Care Center. Coda Living Community provides rehabilitation and short-term or long-term care in Owatonna's newest health care facility. A hallmark of the Benedictine Health System, both locations are committed to providing quality care where health, independence, and choice come to life. For more information, please contact me at 507-446-4946.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Shelley Whitehead, of course. Now I have with me Doug Johnson. You've seen him a few times on the show, but today we're not talking business. Today we're talking history. I don't know, what are we talking? Your history.
Recent history, yes.
Yes. Doug was actually a former officer on a submarine in the Navy, but you did serve on submarines.
Right, I did three different submarines I served on and had a blast. We kind of talked
I went to the U.S. Naval Academy, and while I was there, I had the opportunity to meet with different submariner officers, and I guess I always thought it was the way to go. I didn't have an affinity to fly, didn't want to do surface warfare, and I knew I wasn't cut out to be a Marine. So I went into submarine service. While I was at the academy, in what we called our first class summer, which would be the summer before your senior year, I did a tour. I was on the USS Flying Fish, and had a great tour and just a good time of seeing what it was like to be on submarines. So I chose that as my warfare specialty, and went through the training pipeline, Orlando, Florida, Windsor Locks, Connecticut, and then submarine school at New London, Connecticut.
Now, you're a smart guy, right? Yeah.
Some people might.
No, you could have, we talked about this, you could have gone for a full ride scholarship to the University of Minnesota, but because you were chosen for the Naval Academy, a very prestigious opportunity, you took that. So what jobs did you do when you were on these? What do you, are they a boat? What do you call them? What is the slang for them?
Boat is what they're typically called, back from the old U-boat days or the fleet boats for World War II history. Again, multiple jobs. One of the things that I thought was very enjoyable out of the submarine force is you are always in training for your next job. In other words, I went on board as a young division officer, so I was in training to then become a department head. So during that time, I was torpedo officer, fire control officer. I had jobs back in the engineering plant. We were all trained nuclear power. We were all trained, at the time when I was in, there were only 4 diesel boats left. So everybody was geared up towards the nuclear power. If you go back to the era, John Lehman was Secretary of the Navy. It was under Reagan, and they had the vision of a 600-ship Navy, of which probably about 100 of them would be submarines. So it was kind of a growing time, building a lot of submarines, all nuke boats. And again, we were in the training for that pipeline. So division officer, then trained for department head. So on my first ship, which was the USS Jacksonville, a 688 class submarine, again, there's 2 types of submarines. There's fast attacks and there's the ballistic missile submarines.
And so one shoots missiles, obviously, so they don't move as fast?
Well, the ballistic missile submarines kind of have a deal. They're to go out and get lost. You know, they're part of our nuclear deterrent, so their job is to not be seen. And they have a cycle. You know, again, a submarine's only of value when it's underwater and no one knows it's there.
Yeah.
So their job was to go out and get lost and make sure no one knew where they were and be available if we needed to go to the nuclear deterrents.
And the fast ships?
The fast attacks where real sailors went. We were the hunter-killers. So our job was to go out and to find the enemy's ballistic missile submarines, know where they were, and if needed to be, we needed to put them on the bottom.
Be prepared to do that.
Be prepared to do that. So again, it's kind of it's nice to talk about that in the history.
Yes.
And we didn't have to do that, but it was, you know, every time we left, we knew we had a pretty important role to serve. Obviously, I did a good job. There's no submarines in Minnesota, so I'm still doing a good job. But had a blast. Jacksonville was the first one, and I did division officer training on there. So I was gearing up to be a department head. I then went to, and I've got the hat. This is why I brought. This is vintage USS Jacksonville SSN 699
it's not
ball
very
cap.
Clean. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's got some miles on it. It's and it's seen a lot of different parts of the
Let's
ocean.
talk about what you have on here. So you have Jacksonville, because that's the name of the submarine you're on. There's an insignia below that. What is that?
And again, we called those the Gold Dolphins. I brought an example here of the Dolphins, Japanese warring Dolphins. It's the service selector for officers being gold. The enlisted crewmen wore silver Dolphins. It's a big deal in your career to earn the right to wear Dolphins. It's much like for a pilot, they want the wings of gold, and for a surface warfare officer, they wear the cutlass. If you were in the airborne, it'd be to have the jump wings that you wore. And it was a kind of a milestone, a rite. you knew the submarine well enough to have just about any job on the submarine. Again, down to the point of we knew where every fire extinguisher was on the ship, where every fire axe, all the damage control equipment. You had to be able to draw all the piping for all the different systems. Again, it was about when you were at sea and underwater, there was nobody to call to help you.
Let's talk about that. How long was your longest, like what is your underwater, how long did you stay typically and what was your longest?
Right. Most of the fast attack cycle was built on a 90-day deployment. But again, during that time you would have workups and all the rest. So on the Jacksonville, I did we called a northern cruise where we went under the polar ice cap and got
a little cold.
Got a little cold. But we did 81 days straight submerged.
Okay.
And my wife jokes on that one because when we came into port in Scotland. My wife and another submariners, a friend of mine's wife, joined us over there, and we got some time in the UK. But all we wanted to do was go to a salad bar. You know, because
you didn't have those fresh greens.
Yeah, when you leave, you don't have a lot of lettuce, and it really doesn't last 81 days.
Yeah.
Despite
was that the
all
hardest part for you when you were?
Well, obviously, you know, I look like a person that enjoys my food, but you know, we did eat. We ate very well. You know, a lot of baked goods and you know, all the powdered milk you wanted and all of that type of thing. But we always talk on that run. We had 3 bean salad. By the end of the run, it was 1 bean salad, and it was down to wax beans. And it was kind of
What kind of psychological effect does that take on you? Because when you can't surface or you can't dock for that long.
You know, you get in a cycle. We ran pretty much an 18-hour day because there were 3 watch cycles of 6 hours. So you'd be on watch for 6 hours. You'd do paperwork and anything personal for 6 hours, and then you'd have 6 hours to sleep and get ready for the next watch. So you kind of got on that cycle. You got used to it. You really became close with everybody on the submarine. We became friends. It was just a great environment.
And it didn't matter day or night because you were just doing your cycles of duty.
You just got used to it.
Yeah.
Do you get claustrophobic?
We all talk about, we probably all had one bout of claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Mine was I was laying in my bunk and we used to pull bunk curtains so that the light wouldn't interfere with your sleep. And I was dreaming I was in a coffin.
Oh.
And the only way I could get out of my bunk was to go, the only way I couldn't get out of my bunk. So I woke up thrashing my arms, hit my bunk curtains open, the lights hit me, and I woke up, and that was the only time I had. But I've woken up when other people have been pounding on the bottom of my bunk. Again, on a submarine, there's 3 bunks on top of each other, and you have a bedpan underneath it that you store everything that you want, your underwear, your socks, your clothes.
So it's just not a lot of stuff.
You don't have a lot of room.
No.
Right, you know, and it's 8, at best, you know, 7-foot ceilings. Again, I was 5'11" and a half is probably about how high I was, and I used to lose hair every so often going under different things. But
what's the most exciting story you can tell us in this last minute that we have?
You know, it was just a great experience. A million of them. I guess my most favorable was right before on my last submarine, my father got to go to sea. We did what they call a dependence cruise. So my dad got to go with me. We went out overnight, submerged. He didn't sleep very well because they gave him a bunk right next to the bathroom door, so it kept going open and closed. But that was a great one because I was a navigator on the ship at that time, and we had we were underneath the launch basket for a shuttle launch. So we were off of Port Canaveral. And, you know, that was just, it was great to have my dad on board.
And share that experience.
And share that experience.
Not a lot of people can.
No, you really don't. Again, there were only 6 people out of a crew of 100 plus that were allowed to have someone on board. So to have my dad was pretty special.
That is awesome. Well, I think you should think about writing some of this down and telling your own story and letting people share that with them that way. That'd be awesome.
Again, it's great in my mind. It's funny, you know, we hated every minute of it going through it. Now I look back with all the great things. In fact, I always kid my wife, if they said they had a submarine going to sea and they needed me, I'd be gone.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Doug Johnson. Appreciate it. We'll be right back with the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty. And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna. And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And we're back on the Owatonna Today Show. Don't forget to send in your suggestions to name the purple hairy monster, because it's just not working for me. We really want to thank you for joining us today. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed some of these things. At Owatonna Today, we do want to talk about some of the events that are going on, but we also want to focus on some of the interesting people in our community. So if you do have some ideas of some people that you think would be interesting to see on the show, let us know. Again, you can send us an email at owatonatoday@charter.net. Let's take a quick look at some of your community announcements. On Saturday, March 9th, the Steele County Humane Society, in conjunction with the Kindest Cut L Incorporated, will be offering low-cost spay-neuter services for companion animals and free-roaming community outdoor cats. If you want more information, you can contact the Kindest Cut at 763-489-7729. They do ask you to leave a message, and your phone call will be answered. Or you can visit their website, kindestcutmn.com, and they will let you know if you qualify to be a part of this low-cost spay-neuter services. And the Little Theater of Owatonna is looking for scholarship applications. This would be anybody graduating in 2013, and it would be for those who are graduating from the Owatonna area schools. It is the Vita Alexander LTO Scholarship, and high school students who've been accepted at accredited 2-year or 4-year colleges. And if you want more information, you can check out the littletheaterofowatonna.org website or contact your guidance counselor, and they'll give you more information. The Steele County Humane Society is having their Pancakes for Pets and Silent Auction. A pancake supper and silent auction is Thursday, March 7th from 4:30 to 7:30 at the Eagles Club. Tickets are $5 in advance or $6 at the door. It's a great deal for a pancake supper. This is also when they're going to be showing those pictures. If you sent in a Valentine picture of you, your pet, or your pet and your pet, you can go ahead and see who the winners are, and that'll be a lot of fun to see those really cute pictures at the pancake dinner on Thursday, March 7th from 4:30 to 7, again, at the Owatonna Eagles Club. Meals of Hope is a community meal for anyone that may need a hot meal, and it will be served Sunday evenings from 5 to 6 at Trinity Lutheran Church. If you or someone you know could use a hot meal, please go check this out. You can call the church at 451-5240 for more information. And the Owatonna Pickleball Association is looking for donations to help build courts. They have been using the indoor courts over at the Armory, but they'd like to get outdoors this summer, and they're looking for your help. So if you would like to be a part of this, they'd love for you to join them. This would be this is for the Owatonna Pickleball Association. They're looking to raise about $25,000 so they could use their help. You can send your donation to the Owatonna Chamber Foundation. Let them know that you're interested. And we do want to remind you again, we're going to be having a great show on Friday. Stormy Trum's going to be coming in talking about the hometown sampler, as well as a City of Owatonna update with Chris Busey. So we'll see you then. Thanks for joining us.